Next PQ, Mr. Desmond Chu.
Question 17, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, may I have your permission to address oral PQ 17 and 18 together?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. The Ministry of Manpower and Trade and Industry evaluate occupations for the complementary assessment, complementarity assessment framework or COMPASS, and the shortage occupation list based on 3 criteria. The first criteria being the strategic importance of the occupation to Singapore's economic priorities. The second, the degree and the nature of the labour shortage. And third, the sector's commitment to developing local pipeline to address these shortages. Labour shortages are assessed based on a set of quantitative indicators, and we derive these data from the Ministry of Manpower's Job Vacancy Survey, as well as data from the My Career's Future Job Portal on job applications and vacancies. We also supplement this with qualitative assessments from the relevant sector agencies, alongside with feedback and ground sensing from industry and tripartite partners. So together, this provides a good degree of triangulation. It provides MOM and MTI with a fuller understanding of labour market shortage conditions in the respective industries. The shortage occupation list does not stand alone as a strategy to meet industry demand for skilled professionals. While this shortage occupation list helps companies access foreign professionals to plug immediate skills gaps and seize economic opportunities, it must also be complemented by robust efforts by industry to train up and to place locals into these well-paying jobs. Hence, there must be clear plans, clear commitments by industry to develop the local pipeline, or else the occupation will not be included in the shortage occupation list. Now, to Mr. Liang Eng Hua's question on the tracking of commitments to develop the local pipeline, MOM and MTI work closely with sector agencies to set commitments around local training, as well as employment at the aggregate occupation level. Rather than mandating fixed commitments for each firm, sector agencies have the flexibility to work closely with the firms, with industry partners, and with education and training partners, providers, on plans to train and to employ more locals with these skills in shortage. And we will review that these commitments are met as a key condition for renewing an occupation in the shortage occupation list. To Mr. Chu's question on ensuring that jobs are available for prospective new entrants, we regularly review the shortage occupation list to ensure it remains responsive to changes in the labour market, including taking into account our local graduate pipelines. MOM and MTI will continue to closely monitor indicators of shortage for each occupation, and we will also track local graduate outcomes for the shortage occupation list occupations. The SOL will be reset every 3 years, and we intend to adjust it annually to add or to remove occupations if there are significant changes in industry demand or supply of skilled workers. This will help us to avoid entrenching dependencies on EP holders in any occupation. Thank you.
Mr. Desmond Chu.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. I have 2 supplementary questions for the Minister. Thank you for the reassurance that it's a robust system to make sure that locals are not disadvantaged. The first question is, what is the nexus, or how closely does MOM work with MOE to ensure that the students are going to the subjects training for the occupations in need, they adequately know that there's a strong demand and they will not be dissuaded because more foreigners are coming into those occupations. The second one will be that for the shortage occupation list, will MOM also monitor how the wages changes over time, and indeed the wages are affected, meaning that they're not growing at the rate as compared to other occupations, will then MOM similarly slow down or remove such occupation from the list? Thank you.
Minister Tan See Leng.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and I thank the member for his two SQs. Indeed, in terms of working with the Ministry of Education, this will be one of the key impetus in terms of how we draft each one of the lists. So the SOL, as I've shared earlier on, will be reviewed regularly to reflect current industry needs and shortages. And of course, in addition to earlier on the adjustments annually, this will start on a fresh slate every 3 years so that we don't entrench any particular dependencies in any occupation. So we work with MOE in terms of the growth of our local pipeline, including that of university and polytechnic graduates, because the pipeline of these graduates should help us over time ease the shortages over the medium to long term. And of course, this is also further complemented and supplemented by other mid-career efforts, for instance, like the career conversion programs that we roll out through WSG and also through NTUC, the company training committees. So we expect that with time, some of these occupations that are currently in the shortage occupation list will be removed, hopefully in the not too distant future. On top of that, we also work with our other sector agencies such as EDB because they provide regular industry feedback to the institutions of higher learning about the skills that are in demand, including those needed for occupations on the shortage occupation list, so that the institutions of higher learnings can continue to update their course offerings accordingly. Now, we are in this state where change is accelerating, and there are also significant disruptions to the job landscape. So we also encourage all of our graduating students to continue to learn new skills upon graduation and to pursue opportunities in growth sectors. Of course, we have also announced earlier on in our budget COS this year about career health, about the add-on in terms of the career finders to help our workers to continue to seek adjacencies in terms of their upskilling so that they can get better jobs, better paying jobs. Now, to your second supplementary question about whether we monitor wages change over time. Indeed, we do. And that's why we have also been calibrating upwards our qualifying salary with regards to the employment pass, as well as our S-Pass qualifying, minimum qualifying salaries as well. And that follows a graduated skill depending on the age of the foreign work pass holder. I hope that addresses your concerns. Thank you.
Mr. Gerald Yam.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I have two SQs for the Minister. Is the shortage occupation list proactively shared with schools and tertiary institutions so that they can provide career guidance to their students and encourage them to consider these jobs so that they can fill the shortage when they eventually graduate? Or would the Minister say that the SOL should not be used as a basis for career guidance for younger students, including those in secondary school? Thank you.
I thank Mr. Giam for his SQ. As I've shared earlier on, we live in a world where change is accelerating and the pace of disruptions also accelerating. So on a broad directional guidance to schools, for instance, about our aspirational move into the greening of our economy, into sustainability, into the pivots and the transition into carbon credits, carbon trading, and so on, the broad guidance we can continue to share with the schools. And we work, as I've said earlier on, with the sector agencies to continue to provide insights and inputs into our IHLs so that they can prepare our pipeline of graduates. I think to the extent of getting to the granularity, our continued encouragement, our continued exhortation to all of our students, regardless of whether they graduate from the ITEs, the polytechnics, or the IHLs, would be that they must continue to embrace this constant learning, constant upgrading, and constant upskilling, because the world we live in today has and will continue to be in this state of constant change. I hope that addresses your question. Thank you.